Warning, this show contains adult language, so viewer and listener discretion is advised. Welcome to another edition of Up and In It. I'm your host, Adrian Babashoff, and if you're new here, welcome, my friends. If you're wondering what the show is about, it's entirely dedicated to improving quality of life for both people and the planet we live in through liberation and independence, moving you from surviving to thriving and living life raw the way you want to live. Hopefully you're one of those. This is episode 212, and it's Stop Focusing on All the Negatives. And I want to do a little house cleaning before we get into this. I've been thinking about it all day, and I've decided that you guys are my friends and that this is a hobby podcast, meaning I was very concerned from the last episode, 211, that the swear words and the way maybe some of the subject matter I talk about is not really friendly to most people, but you know what? You guys ain't most people. You guys are my family. You are my peeps. My peeps don't give a fuck about bad language and things like that. In fact, we use that as much as possible. We make fun of everything so we have a good fucking time. Things are so screwed up and you have to laugh. Life sucks sometimes. Life is weirder than shit. But we need to laugh. We need to feel somewhere comfortable. And I've decided, fuck it all, dude. Fuck it. We're going to have a comfortable place. You know, this is a place where you have a dirty-ass coffee table. You can throw your boots on there, crack open a beer, tell a dirty joke, and just make fun of everything and not take anything too serious, right? And speaking of friends, I think that's people. That's my first on my notes here as far as negativity. And I think this is probably the worst out of all of them. You see, guys, we have a lot of negative people. It could be family members, friends, colleagues, people you work with, the people on the news. You know, the majority of people are do-nothings, go nowheres and do-nothings. And especially if you're somebody who's a go-getter, you'll understand the fervor of where I come from this. Most people are at the gas station of everything sucks and we can't do anything about a damn fucking thing. And they like to sit. Look at the look on their faces. They actually get some sort of joy off of talking shit about how bad things are. And when something's really, really bad, even in the news, you see them just kind of like with this excitement almost. And some of them, it's a fake fucking, well, I gotta deliver this bad news kind of stuff. And you look, no, you wouldn't. Like, I mean, some of the shit I've seen on the news and some of the things that I've seen people say, the content of it, I've witnessed and seen things myself, and I would go to tell somebody, I'm like, you know what, I don't really even care to tell you what I witnessed today or what I seen or what I heard, you know. Just some really screwed up shit. Why even talk about it? Let's talk about good things, you know. And I'm not saying that we all just need to be positive, fucking farting rainbow unicorns all the fucking time, you know. But it helps. I don't know, I feel some sort of liberation off this show. Of just getting it all off my chest, man. Just doing it. But yeah, speaking of that liberation, the moment I stopped hanging around with these negative nannies, the better my life got, man. I'd have to say my life's a little strange than most people. That's probably why you guys want to follow my show, is that I really don't have very, very many friends. I can count them maybe on one hand. And I don't know, I work a lot. I'm a single dad. I have a special needs kid, and I just work a lot, and something's wrong with my mind where I have to study things. You know, I'm always learning. I don't watch TV really, like shows. I'll get on like TikTok every once in a while and go through stuff, but even then I'm like, this is just a bunch of nonsense. Like everything always has to have some sort of meaning, or I always have to be productive in some sort of way. Like I always need to learn shit. And what I'm always learning about is how could we help the earth? How could we stay healthy? How could we make more money without fucking things up and fucking people over, right? Man, I probably said the F word like 20 times in the show, and it feels damn good. No, but yeah, these people will definitely get in your way, and it'll change your mood. I mean, look at the energy that you feel like it starts to wear on you, man. And I know that there's a lot of people out there just change your perspective and all that, but man, when you're laying in the pig pen with a bunch of pigs and you're smelling the shit and you're seeing the flies and it's muddy, it's uncomfortable, it does no good. And guess what? A lot of these people, they don't like you either. They don't want you sitting there pointing out all the solutions. That's one of the things that's really pissed me off is how all these bad things that I speak of. And I'm like, dude, my first thing is come up with some solutions. Well, what can we do about it? And it bothers me. I'm like, we got to engineer a way out of this shit. So I put out something that's really awesome. There's some really cool people that I love to share on the show, like things they've done to help the world and people and just positive stuff. And you know what? The negative stuff gets like 1 million views, right? From other people. Someone like me comes with positive stuff and it gets like a few, maybe 100, but it's not really that exciting, I guess. And that's where I talk, is my peeps who don't want to sit in the negatives and talk and see all this ugly, grotesque shit in the world. I mean, it's there. We acknowledge it. But those who want to partake in doing something for themselves or for the earth and like getting ahead, you got to get rid of those people, dude. Just pretend they're not even there. A lot of people, I'd have to say, I'm 86 for life. I've got rid of them, and my life has become more richer. Definitely, hands down, 100%. Problem is, though, is that there's not a lot of us out there, so it does kind of get lonely. If you're a very person, right? If you need to go out there, living this kind of lifestyle, I think, is it's not for everybody. But I would say just like pick and choose, I go to certain events and things that I don't want to really just call out, but it's not very often. And when I do, I go make the best of it. I usually play with kids that are there, and I always try to do the good. We got this phone and stuff too, so you could be reading a book here and there, and like just find ways to stay positive and not let those people affect you. I think we have a lot of information on the show of what we got inside our heads, what we got inside of our hearts. And when you have that self-confidence and you know who you are, it's very difficult for people to sway you. Stay away from the news too, guys. The news is probably one of the most horrible things. I mean, I've seen a baby found in a trash can, you know what I mean? Shit like that where I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? How the hell could you do that to another human being, let alone your own child? Like, just things like that. And I'm sorry that I brought that negative up, but that's why I say just watch for the weather, right? Don't get lost in this whole COVID shit and this whole great reset, which I think a lot of people the news isn't really talking about, recession and all that kind of stuff. But go for a diet. Just stop watching the news for a long time. And I mean, there's stuff that I could talk about. People like Paul Stamets, who's coming out with these funguses that are able to annihilate termites out of homes, and they're completely biodegradable and eco-friendly. His work is the United States Army, basically the government just declared his work a national security. He's able to cure smallpox with this fungus that he discovered. He's able to heal the bees of the world. These are things that should be on top news, but they're not. Focus on those type of things. Fuck the regular media shit. And and social media too. Believe half the things. I think it's Einstein. No, not Einstein. The guy who wrote Huckleberry Finn. Why can't I think of his name right now? Mark Twain. He said, believe half the things you see and none the things you hear. Words of wisdom. Conspiracies. Man, there is some stuff out there. Pardon the noise to you guys. That's my F-350 pickup truck. I'm on my work commute back home right now. It's the only time I get to podcast. These shows take a lot of time, a lot of money. I got to squeeze them in whenever I can. Conspiracies. Man, there is some stuff out there where people are weaving these stories and things. And I'm not saying that they are conspiracies. I'm not saying that they aren't. It's just a lot of things has been said. Let's give you guys some, for instance, I was following, there was supposed to be a trucker strike, so there's going to be a huge food shortage. I bought a shit ton of diapers, because again, I've got an older child with special needs. I need diapers, wipes. Daddy needs wine. I stocked up a shitload of wine and beer, not just to fucking tell you guys, like, overdid it. Like, I must have, alcohols, I bought probably like about $400 worth of alcohol, about $300 worth of wipes and stuff like that, and toilet paper, and foods and things like that. And these are things I'm going to use anyways. The alcohol may take me years. I don't really drink that much anymore like when I was younger. Probably, but it's nice that I have a full bar. Everything's all set up. I'm like, in the time when the going gets rough, the rough get drinking, right? Go home and mix yourself a large Long Island iced tea. Put your fucking flip-flops up on the coffee table and go, you know what? It's not going to be that bad. I don't know what the fuck we're going to do, but I'm going to do something. But right now, you know what I'm doing? A Long Island iced tea. So yeah, these conspiracy stuff, man, you can get lost and get down the rabbit hole. And I mean, it sounds so real. But a lot of stuff they said was going to happen didn't happen. It's almost just like the news. I'd like to say, too, you guys notice, anybody who's been listening to all these shows, I haven't been playing that card. That's what's getting all the reviews and the thumbs ups and basically the views is people just hammering into this recession and great reset and like all the stuff that we're fearing. If you guys notice, my show is all mostly like I'd say 85-90% of it is what could do, what do we have control over, what can we handle, and always looking at things from an unbiased situation, from perspective of like, I don't know if this stuff's really real or not, but it does make sense that we do some preparations, right? That we start gardening, that we start taking care of our health, and whether the times were good or bad, these are still things that are going to help us out and make us live a better life. They're good for the planet and good for the people. So that's where I look at. That's my life's work. So, but yeah, watch out with those conspiracies. Next, your own insecurities. Yeah, we're talking about other people, right? The news, the media, conspiracies, all this stuff. But I can't iterate this enough of how many people I see who have their own insecurities, and they let that dark voice really control their lives, right? A lot of people are scared to fail. And there's no such thing as fail. Everybody fucking fails. Look at Elon Musk. What did that car? What, they threw the piece of lead at the window and it broke? That was a failure, right? But he was able to make social media stuff out of it, get a lot of content, get a lot of views and things like that. And then they redid some things on it. And like, so I just wanted to tell you guys that there's so many people that screw up and stuff, and that to not be scared. I just like to talk about that a lot because I think a lot of people even gas themselves up. You have the subconscious mind, right, and your conscious mind, and you have the battle between the two, and you have these things that have been imprinted in your mind from your parents, probably from public education, from news, from government. Like, these are the way things are. Really? When you start digging through things and experimenting and fucking some things up and winning some, you look and go, huh, that wasn't supposed to work, but it worked, right? I want you guys in all of this horse shit, crazy shit show that we got going on to start thinking for yourselves, getting your spirit and your momentum up, and you're only going to get that by trying new things. I spoke a episode a couple back. It's just simple little things like teaching my daughter how to start a fire with flint. Will she ever need to use that? Probably not. But if she ever did, it's another skill she's got on her belt. But you know what that does is that wakes up that feeling in you like, huh, I know how to light a fire now. And I could do it in like 2, 3, 4 different ways, right? Showed my daughter a magnifying glass. I'm like, did you know you can start fire with this? Did you know you can mold a piece of ice, like in the snow, if you were in the mountains, in the complete wilderness? It was like that movie Alive, you know what I mean? With whatever his name is, Ethan Hawke. You can actually melt a piece of ice, make a giant lens out of this thing, like a Fresnel lens. If you don't know what that is, look it up. They're really, really cool. And you can literally start a fire with ice, right? The reverse, the inspiration. Damn, I'm in a good chipper mood. Don't expect this all the time, people. Usually I'm pretty, not this chipper. So yeah, I want you guys to start looking for the loopholes. And I want to talk a little bit about a big job that I may have. This is 2021. And sometimes, every once in a while, I get these really huge jobs, 6-figure job, right? I mean, I'll make enough money for 2022 probably that I wouldn't have to work the rest of this year, next year, and the year probably after that. So it's government job here in the sunny state of California, where there's lots of fucking rules and regulations where they like to tell you no about everything. And quite frankly, I'm getting quite sick of it. But I would say no other place on the planet do we need to really look for loopholes and stay positive as we do in fucking Sunnyside, California. So I've got a friend who's he's kind of a mentor of mine. I haven't talked to him. He told me a bunch of stuff, like his advice, and I looked at it. I was like for instance, I'm telling you, you can't do everything yourself, man. Doing everything myself. I'm happier. I'm healthier than him. I do not nearly have the amount of money, but I'm not diabetic. I don't have. I'm not on like 5 to 10 different medications. I'm not so miserable. I want to fucking just go nuts, right? And I still have my health, but not to knock this stuff down, this particular person and everything. But when I started asking him, what do I do? It's prevailing wage for this job. It's for the government, you know. And he was like, you know what? That shit's over. That was long ago. You're going to have to hire somebody just to do the paperwork. You know, it's going to cost you like $1,500 every day, even if you just have one employee. They've just made hurdles for everybody to jump through. So what I kept looking for when he was telling me this is all the loopholes. I said, well, I'll do the job myself then. And he was like, well, that's ridiculous. But I'm like, yeah, but I can do that job, probably take me about a month. But really, there's not much to it, you know? It's not very dangerous. And he was like, well, knock your socks off. I said, what if I did it myself? Would I have to go through all that paperwork? He goes, no, it's really hiring the employees. That's very difficult. If you did it yourself, you'd be fine. But I just don't see how you're going to do it, he said. I think that's ludicrous. So I kept looking for the loopholes, right? And that's what I found. I put the bid in. If I get it, I'll report. Probably one of the best jobs I've had up to date. But yeah, I kept looking for the loopholes. And speaking of more loopholes, we're on 16 minutes. Damn it, I hate doing these small little shows. I'm going to have to whip through these ones very quickly. Loopholes is I can't continue doing my business like I am right now. I'm a contractor in construction, and I have a special needs kid, and I got to do something different. So I started looking through loopholes. One thing I found is being up on roofs, you can see a lot of people have solar panels, right? I was like, those things need to be cleaned. Do you need a license to these solar panels? Comes to find, you don't need a fucking license. Very interesting here in Sunnyside, California. I'll bet you don't right now, but you will. But you're going to have to pay a lot in insurance and all those kind of things. So I looked at this and I said, well, what's the competition? Not much competition out here. The Tesla and other people, they don't do these things. They refer you out to Google and just say, go find somebody, an independent contractor, to clean these things for you. So when I looked into this, it's a couple $1,000s to get into, but this is something literally you can do an entire house within like 20 minutes. Like it takes more time to set up and get there than it does to actually do the job. You can charge anywhere from $150 to $350 a job. So like $150 an hour, right? Not all. There's gas and insurances and all those kind of things. But this is something that I could take my daughter with me. She could be sitting in my vehicle right now while I hire a guy or two guys to get up there and wash the panels for me. And then we all get in the truck and we drive over to the next one. It's very quick. There's not much to it. I am also a roofing contractor, so if tiles break, if some kind of damage happens to the roof, I'm actually licensed to fix this, whereas all the other guys are not licensed to fix this, right? To fix people's roofs. So they're getting up there gambling that if someone breaks some tiles or something on their roof, this guy is going to have to go hire a roofer to do it. We're talking about a hell of a lot more money, whereas me, I got everything all in one place. Loopholes. They said my competition I spoke and about Violet. Yeah, I've already got all that on there. So I found a way. Obviously, my show with all the swearing and everything, I thought about monetizing it to see how well it would do. I mean, we're on 3 years now, and it's not really taking off anywhere. And I think we're very small. My peeps aren't very many out there, obviously. And so, yeah, I have to think of a way to support us so that for the rest of our lives. And I think I found it with the solar cleaning. And I always find all kinds of things. I'm so excited about what I may think of next, right? And I wanted to share that with you guys, for you guys to look for the loopholes and stay positive and stop focusing on all the fucking negatives. Look at all the time you spent focusing on all the bullshit that's out there. If you instead started focusing on what kind of business, right? While you're sitting on the fucking roof, or like me, and you're just like, this sucks. It's hot. I don't know what we're going to do. You were thinking so much of the negatives, you didn't open your eyes and look around you and go and see the opportunity. Go, there's a bunch of solar panels here, and they all look dirty. There's hundreds of thousands of them, right? So stay positive, stay open, stay focused on what you can do. Once you find something you could do, double down on it. Hang up the phone, stop watching the news, get rid of the fucking people in your life, and spend every day, every spare minute that you have getting out there and finding those fucking loopholes to fix your life, to repair the planet, to be happy, to be healthy, to be prosperous, and get what it is that you want, right? We didn't get here overnight. We sure as fucking getting out of here overnight. It's going to take some work. That's the fucking truth. That ain't no like, oh, we're going to get rich quick and I got all the answers. No, none of us have all the answers. I don't either. I'm not claiming that. But I do know that if we do stay focused and we do stay away from these bad people, we will find something that's tangible, something that makes sense for each of us as an individual. So you guys, I really care about you guys. That's why I do this fucking show. And welcome to the new laid-back style of the show. And I want to do something like Bill Burr, where like at the end of his show, he's like, "Yeah, don't forget, go fuck yourselves." But I don't really know how that would do. That's Bill Burr. I didn't say it, guys. I didn't say it. I didn't mean it. I was talking about his show. All right, so don't get all angry and not follow. So the guys, if you like this sort of thing, check it out. You guys can message me on upandinitshow@gmail.com. Let me know how we're doing. Please give us a review. Help me to get the show going. Like, subscribe, all that kind of horse shit there. And if you guys like it, it's Up and In It on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and anywhere where you can find the podcast. And as I always say, guys, go out there and have yourself a near-life experience. Don't lose your muchness. Carry on the fire. Human up. Live it, love it, own it. And bone it, my friends.